So I'm very excited to share this with you guys in this presentation, this webinar. I'm going to show you guys how to get 175 roofing leads per month with your Google Business Profile without paying a single penny, without you using your fund. So I'm super excited over this. Over the next 45 minutes, I'm just going to let you know how to use Google Business Profile to kind of generate more leads, more visibility into your business, and really kind of grow your local organic presence. It's important that we understand this and we grow as a team and help you grow your business over time, right? So let's get started. So before we get started, I want you to really imagine this scenario in your business. What would your life look like if you could consistently generate 50 to 100 high quality organic roofing leads per month for free? What would your life look like? How would your business be different? Would you hire more salespeople to your business, right? How would that look to your business if you actually grow to a certain amount, right? So I want you to really imagine that scenario, because what I want you to imagine a scenario is a possibility, because we've actually done this multiple times for our clients, and you guys can do this yourself with the information that I provide for you guys in this webinar, right? So who is this for? This is for any roofing company owner that wants to generate more visibility online, wants to grow their business online, just wants to grow, right? It does not really apply to anybody that's an owner. You can use it yourself as a business, but it's just really good information that's going to help you really reach your goals organically online, right? So before we get started, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about us, about myself. I started the company in 2017. And we've been in business since 2017, so it's gonna be 7 years in June now. And my experience is I worked in marketing for freelancing for a few years. I don't have a marketing background. I studied actually engineering in college, but I decided to get into the marketing field because I just felt really passionate about marketing and online business and wanted to kind of start kind of living the laptop lifestyle, right? That's why I first started getting into it. But I started just learning marketing myself, and I started the business, and I saw a big opportunity in roofing. I have a construction background. I worked for a construction company for 2 years. And I just saw there was a big opportunity because of how far behind is the roofing industry is. So that's why I got into the business. And I got my first client in June of 2017. So it's about 7 years next month, right? And during that time span, we generated 150,000 inbound leads for our clients, resulting in over 500 million in sales. And we work with, probably 300 or 400 clients at this point, and we help them grow their business. We work from companies that are, startups to companies over 210 to even our biggest client was over $200 million in sales. So that's really a big thing that we saw for our business, is really helping our clients grow during that time span. And it's really changed. So really, we focus more on the Google side in the beginning, then Facebook. And now we're really going to take a 360 approach during that time frame. And really what makes us different is that there's nothing for sale, right? There's nothing for sale in this presentation, in this webinar. Just presenting good information that really can help you make better decisions in your business and just help your business grow. One of the most important things is gaining visibility on today's Google's landscape, right? It's always changing, keeping up with the trends. There was actually new changes came out this day before our actual presentation, and I'm going to talk you through it. But just good information that you can use. And at the end, if you guys want to learn more information, then we can definitely work together on that, right? So what is Google Business Profile, right? Google My Business was rebranded in 2021. It was originally known as Google My Business. And it's been, I consider it like an online listing. It's an online directory. Think about it as your digital face of your business, where people can know your business, understand who you are, what you do, understand your reviews, talk about what your customers are thinking about your business, kind of really just a kind of digital face of your business. If you think about how the internet has changed things in the last 30 years, people, when they needed a local business, the most common way they advertise and the most common way people looked up information is through the yellow pages, right? And the yellow pages change, right? They monetize the business, and really Google My Business has really kind of taken over that space. Yelp became a big part of it, and then eventually Google My Business, kind of what their whole goal was to uh, kind of categorize all the businesses, local businesses in the country and even worldwide, right, through their online directory. So the good thing about Google My Business, and now it's Google Business Profile, that it presents an opportunity to use Google's reach to actually help grow your business. And a lot of people are just not taking advantage of it. So I'm going to present that right now. I'm going to show you guys how to do this for yourself. So how a Google Business Profile can help your company get found on Google search. Really, there's two things that you're looking at here. The first one is the knowledge panel, and the second one is a local map pack. When people talk about, Google Business Profile, Google My Business, they're really talking about like the maps, right? That's what most people think about, right? How can I be found in the map section? How can how can I be found on the map section in the top of the search results to really get that information, right? But there's kind of two things that you see that the knowledge panel, which is kind of presents general information like your name, your address, your phone number, general information about your business, the reviews you have, just kind of get general information about your business on the mobile side. Think about this today, most searches today are mobile, like 65% of searches are mobile. So it's important how you display your business information online, especially mobile. So make sure you have this information correct. The second thing is a local map pack, and that's really the top section of the search results when people are searching in localized ways, right? So it's related to your search query, related to searches like near me. It kind of gives a snapshot of people, that proximity of your business and that person is looking at. When you think about the local map pack, it really provides different results depending on the person's IP address, depending on the person's location. So make sure you keep that in mind when you do these searches, right? So it's important to think those are the two main things that you look at. And the Google Business Profile gets really found on the maps, like I was saying before, right? So if you look at this specific example, this is a company in Acre, California. If you type in the search column on the map section, right? Because when you type on Google, there's different examples, right? You could type in Google search, right? And then Google Maps, Google Videos, Google Images. And if you look at the maps, this will kind of give you a general breakdown, right? It gives you 10 results, right? The first page, 10 results, right? If you look at the regular search, it gives you 3 results. Plus, it gives you the option for more businesses. But this is an example of one of our clients, Acre Roofing, that gets found there. So the whole premise of this is that it gives you people that are searching in proximity, right? Proximity equal people that are local businesses, local people, right? So that's the main advantage that Google has versus a platform like Facebook, which it kind of gives a more like a broad brand type of, like a billboard type of advertising, just general like speak. This is people just searching for people in the directions, right? Also, when people search, it gives the ability to people to call your business, or even get directions, right? So those are common things that people do when they search for a business, right? The importance of Google Business Profile for local companies. So this is really big, right? These are some stats that we created. And I'm gonna have these stats at the end of the presentation, but it's very important to show like this, and really displays the importance of how this can really affect your local business, right? 97% of users learn about local business online, right? It's very obvious. The first thing that people do when they search online is they look on Google, right? If they see an ad on Facebook, if they see a billboard, if they see a yard sign, the first thing they do is turn to Google, right? And how you present your business online is going to affect the perception of either they call you or don't call you, right? It's very important you understand that, right? 93% of consumers use Google Maps to find local business, right? So they're turning to the maps, especially for local businesses. If I go to a new area, for example, last week I was in New York, I wanted to search for a gym near me. What I did is search gym near me, and Google pulled up the closest locations. Also, it pulled up locations had the most visibility and the most reviews, and just kind of gives me a synopsis of what I think would be the best choice for myself, right? 87% of consumers use Google to decide on a business. One of the stats that I really that I read years ago. This is from Roofing Contractor Magazine. That's very prevalent even today. Is that 90% of roofing jobs begins with an online search. So it's important that you when you actually do this online, right? When people are searching online, is that if you don't present yourself like a well-organized company that gets people to know, like, and trust you, then you're gonna be losing on the potential business that looks like that. Think about the consumers, right? And the homeowners, right? They have literally, thousands of options, right? Hundreds of options in cities, right? If you're not appearing with the right information that can really be presentable, then you're going to be losing those business and opportunities, right? 86% of customers use local maps to find a business nearby. Just I gave you an example with the gym, and the other example is 64% of consumers use Google My Business, or I'm sorry, Google Business Profile to find the contact details. So obviously, when you have a name, right, the first thing they're going to do is actually go instead of your website, they're going to go to your Google Business Profile to get the contact information. And that's how you get a lot of information online, and get a lot of calls, right? Other thing is like I was saying, localized search. Localized search has really increased in importance the last 5 or 10 years. Google local SEO is becoming more and more important. It's also becoming more and more important for local businesses as AI comes in, as the search results organically get pushed down on the menu, right? So Google Near Me searches have increased 250%, right? By optimizing your local results, you attract more nearby customers, right? When you think about yourself, right? When somebody's searching in in proximity, right? Roofing companies near me, right? Or plumbers near me, or HVAC companies near me. Those are the people right at the top of the buying cycle that are ready to make a decision, right? The pros and cons of that is the pros that people are ready to buy, right? And the most likely to buy. The cons is that usually the most expensive, right? Especially with the paid advertising, right? When you bid on those different keywords on Google Ads, those are the most expensive keywords, right? It's more because the most competitive, because it's usually the highest intent to buy, right? But what you do is that if you specifically rank for on the SEO side, right, you're getting those highly targeted competitive keywords that are ready to buy, but you're not actually paying for the actual leads. That's the whole premise of this, the whole idea of this, the whole goal of this is get some of those leads that are more immediate, right? To get you more at the top. One of the things that I found while doing research on this webinar is really getting an understanding of what the important factors are on the local map pack, right? What are the main factors in getting ranked on Google My Business, right? So what we found is that this is from Whitespark that we did, and I'll put the link at the end of the presentation, is that the most important factor with a score of 193 is the primary Google business category, right? So what that means is that in a simple way, if you are a roofing contractor, right? A lot of roofing companies, they have different services, right? If they're a general contractor, they can provide, roofing, siding, they could do new construction, etc. So they could do all these different things as they have a license for everything, right? But if they want to generate more business from their Google business profile, then they should put themselves in the roofing space if they want to just focus on roofing, right? If they want to do new construction or siding, then they should change the primary category in the Google business, because that's the primary reason why people rank on that, right? The main factor, and I'll go into this in detail, is having the keywords in the Google business title, right? So if you're starting a new company and you want to be primarily servicing roofing customers, right? Roofing homeowners, right? Then I highly recommend you have roofing in your name, somehow in your name. It could be roofing anything, but having roofing in the name, right? If you're roofing Dallas, that's a name that I wouldn't recommend, because obviously if you're in Dallas, right, it does work well. But if you want to expand to Houston, right, it doesn't make sense. The name doesn't make any sense, right? You want to have a name that's broad, where people can actually even one day be international, right? Or even national, but at least having roofing in the name, right? So it could be roofing anything. Apple Roofing is a good example, right? So that's kind of the idea, right? Other one is obviously proximity to address to the point. Like I said before, if you're proximate, it's going to have different factors than somebody searching 5 miles from a person from here. And then other three factors that I'm going to discuss more in detail is the reviews, right? Reviews are extremely important in factors, right? And getting ranked and getting just more leads, right? These are some other local search ranking factors. So these are just more generalized in terms of local SEO. It really comes down to two main things: the local pack, which is the map section, which I kind of discussed earlier. These are the main factors that it looks like. So the most important thing in ranking in the mobile in the map pack, right, in the top three, is obviously your Google Business Profile, right? Your how strong your Google Business Profile. Second is on-page signals, right, which is to do with the on-page, right, the localized keywords you're using on your website, the reviews, right, obviously very important, and then the other things that you discuss, and then obviously getting ranked organically on the ranking, right, organic when people are searching organically, having the on-page factors on the website, the link signals, behavior signals, all these different things. So this is very important understanding. These factors have been pretty, I would say pretty common in the last 5 or 10 years. They're always changing, right? So they're always relevant. But this, if you do a combination of everything on this page, then you will get ranked, right? And that's what we do for our clients. We do a combination of all these different things to help you get ranked. And I'll show you some specific examples that you can do yourself, so you can actually learn and how to do this applies yourself, right? Uh, this is just what I talked about before, right? Reviews, right? Everybody understands the importance of reviews, right? Reviews are very important, especially for today's connected economy, right? Today's connected economy, a bad word can really hurt your business, right? So that's why it's very important that you have a lot of positive reviews, right? Think about reviews. A simple way to understand it is reviews are like the modern referrals. Referrals are leads that have much higher chances of closing. Also, they pay more than regular leads, right? So referrals, people look at reviews and they make buying decisions based on the reviews, based on the amount of reviews, based on how high the rating, right? Those are important factors. So these are just some things that you see, you can read yourself, is that they influence purchase decision, they boost local awareness, et cetera, right? A very common example is that if you're trying to do any type of advertising, right? If you're trying to do any type of SEO and you're trying to get people to click in your website, etc. But if you have a 3.0 rating out of 5 or 3.5 rating out of 5, it's obviously going to hurt you, right? It's going to hurt your advertising, it's going to hurt people, it's going to hurt you, the ability to get more leads. So make sure you take care of that. And it's obviously cyclical, right? If you provide bad service, if you provide a bad product experience, over time, it's going to hurt your business, and maybe one day you go out of business, right? But the whole point of this is that having good service and good products and providing good service is not enough, because if nobody knows about that, right, then you're just kind of wasting what you're doing, right? Because at the end of the day, roofing companies, there are so many roofing companies, there are new startups every single day. I read the other day that of all the different types of businesses, home service businesses have the most startups the last 2 years. So the only part of the economy that's really growing is home services. So more people are entering the home services space because of many factors. But one of the factors is that it has low barrier to entry overall compared to other other space, right? There are a lot more roofing companies, roofing contractors that are starting off this year versus people becoming doctors overall, right? Getting new reviews, obviously, one of the crucial things about reviews is I talked about the importance, right? You guys know about the importance. The other thing is getting more reviews, right? So about getting more reviews, there are different tools that you can use, and these are they're all recommended. You can use all of them. We obviously we partner with Contract. That's our company that we use to help kind of automate this entire process. But obviously, companies like Birdeye and Podium both do a really good job helping you get more reviews. So if you hire these companies, you can kind of automate the process to help you reviews. Two things that Google looks for in importance is that you get consistent reviews, right? Consistent reviews over time. Getting a ton of reviews like in 1 month is not a huge factor versus getting consistent reviews over time. That's actually a very big factor in rankings. So make sure you have this in place and put this into your business as a common practice to understand, to help you kind of get more reviews, right? So all these things, they help you not only get more reviews, automate the reviews, but also kind of manage your reputation by responding to reviews, by making sure that people actually allow you to have, sales reps just kind of automate the process to help it be more successful, right? So I hope you guys understand that and the importance of reviews. Other thing I want to talk about is profile performance, right? So obviously the most important thing is, and I'll get this in a second, is having your Google business profile verified, right? And I'll talk about this specifically in a second, but obviously it's a big factor in getting clicks, right? The average Google business profile just being verified gets about 200 clicks per month on their profile. So obviously those clicks can be just regular clicks, or those clicks can actually be phone calls, or those clicks can actually go to your website and become a lead, etc., right? But you think about, the space you're in. You're in the roofing space, right? Each potential click, right, can be a lead. That lead can lead to a potential, even $100,000 job, right? So it's very important to understand you guys are a high ticket service, and these are potentially worth a lot, right? So if you see an example right there, this is a profile for a client, Acro Roofing, and you can see the breakdown of where all the clicks are coming from, right? In this example, 5,100 people viewed the profile, and about 42% came from mobile, right, from the search, and about 34% came from desktop, right? That's the search, right? The other percentage, about 23% came from the map section, right, from mobile and from desktop, right? So kind of gives you a breakdown of the performance overall and what that looks like overall. So all right, so we talked about the Google Business Profile, talked about the map section, talked about the ranking factors. There's two things that you can do, right? Most of the time, if you already have a business, and this is more likely the case, you already have a Google Business Profile, you have to make sure you have to claim it, right? If you already have a profile, you can actually go to the site called google.com/business, right? And either create a new listing if you don't have one, or claim your current listing and make sure you're the actual owner, right? So go to this website right here, sign in, right? Put your name, right? And then go to step 3. And then step 3 is basically just put where you serve your customers. Obviously, if you're in Miami and South Florida, put in Miami, Broward, and Boca Raton, all those different areas. Step 4 is enter your business information, like your phone number and your website. I'm going to go into detail specifically each more into the phone number and the website to make sure I understand each specific parts. But those are the kind of the main important things, right? So and that's like step 5. You edit, you claim your profile, and then the step 6 is basically verification. And I'm going to explain how that works in a second. But basically with verification, the way it works is two things, right? For a long time, Google allowed you to have a postcard sent to an address. We can actually get a physical postcard, and Google will send you a code. That code, you can actually input into the profile and get verified. That's how Google makes sure that you actually own the profile, right? Now, what Google's done is that Google has really cracked down on physical addresses, right? So they want to make sure that every Google Business Profile that has an address is an actual physical location, right? You can have a Google Business Profile without an address, right? And I'm going to go into detail on the different scenarios about that. But overall, what's happened is this, right? When you have when Google cracked down on this a few years ago, is that it really kind of drove out the competition. There's actually less competition in the map section versus before, because before anybody can just have an address. Now it's a lot harder, because what Google does for you is that you have to actually verify the listing, the address, with the actual video, right? So that video can take it's about 30-second video, 1-minute video. And actually you have to take a video of actual office to make sure that you actually have a physical location. So those are some things that Google has changed that's really kind of made it easier. In fact, a bigger opportunity for the people to have a physical location, right? So let's go over this, and let's talk about best practices for filling out every section of the profile, right? So let's go over each space. So first one is the name, address, and phone number, right? Name, address, and phone number, exactly what it says. It's called the NAP. It's an abbreviation, but name, address, and phone number, having the correct name, like I talked about. I explained the importance of having roofing in the name. Obviously, you don't want to have a fake business name. If it's the name is Acro Roofing, you have Acro Roofing. But if it's a different name, right? If you don't have roofing in the thing, actually it go against Google's terms of services if you don't have the name. The other thing is having the right address, obviously, and a phone number. Business categories, I explained that a little bit a second, but having the right business category, you can also add additional subcategories into this. So you can, if you're a roofing contractor, you can do siding contractor, you could do roofing new construction, etc. But having the right primary business category is the main driver. Next is having a business description, making sure the business description is clear, concise, and engaging. So make sure you sell who you are, what you do, and actually provide the services you provide. Obviously, opening hours, operating hours. Make sure you're actually accurate with this information. So a lot of people that I've seen, they put 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and that's something that I wouldn't recommend. I just recommend sticking to the actual truth. So what I mean by that, if you work from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, put 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, right? It's pretty simple, right? You don't want to put 24 hours and 7 days a week, because if you don't have that, then it sends the wrong expectations. The last thing is service area, making sure the service area is correct to include, right? So if you have all of South Florida, for example, if I'm in Miami, you include, Broward County, Dade County, and even Palm Beach County if you're serving Palm Beach County, right? Very common question I get, right? And this pertains to the name, is this, right? Should roofing be in the name, right? And if you have the ability to have roofing in the name, right? Then I would definitely recommend having roofing in the name. The main factor is this: Google takes into consideration the exact keyword in roofing, right? In your name, right? So if you're a roofing company, primary keyword in your business is going to be roofing, right? Roofing company, etc., whatever, roofing, right? So having roofing in the name is going to be a factor in ranking. So I would definitely recommend having roofing in the name. So when somebody asks you that, if you were starting a new company, obviously you have roofing in the name, right? Other thing to keep in mind, right? If you don't have roofing in the name, right, you can get away with actually having, putting roofing in the name of a Google business profile, right? Adding roofing just to rank for that keyword, but it really is against Google's terms of service. So it really depends on what you want to do. I mean, if you want to play with fire, then fine, you can do it. But it's definitely a factor in that, right? So recommended having roofing in the name. If you don't have roofing in the name, you can add it to the profile, but you might get suspended. So just make sure you understand that, right? So talk about the address and service area on this. So important with the address and service area, there's two really scenarios that I want to talk about when this first one is having a physical office, right? So this is pretty straightforward. If you have a physical office, right, all you have to do is verify the location with either a video or postcard, right? And once you verify the location, then Google will take into account the proximity of the location. It's definitely a factor in rankings. So like I explained earlier, right, one of the main factors in rankings is probably top 5 is the proximity to the search. So somebody for example, I'm in Miami Beach, right? Somebody searches for a roofing company, a digital agency in Miami Beach, right? If somebody searches like right next door, right, they're gonna get our business listing because we're right next door, right? Because it's very close, and our address is displayed on our Google business profile, right? So it's an important factor. So, but if you don't have an address, then that's the other factor you can do, right? You can have a virtual office, right? Obviously, in roofing, like plumbers, like HVAC, you don't actually need a physical location, right? Sometimes you can get away with a warehouse or whatever, but it's you can just deliver materials to the house, and you can actually drive and actually complete the job without having an office, right? You can just drive to the person's house to actually complete the job. So there are ways, right, that we can have a virtual office, right? And that will give you like a little bit of boost, but it's not going to be the same having a physical address, right? So make sure you understand that those are the two scenarios. Obviously, you do what you can have, right? What you can get, right? If you don't have a physical location, then just do it with the virtual location and try to do the best you can, right? Obviously important. Now, if you get to a certain point, right, then I would definitely have an office. I mean, most roofing companies that I know do have offices, right? So it's an important factor in getting ranked, right? Other thing you can do is basically getting, just a small office, or if it's you pay like a $500 or $1,000 a month or whatever that is, having that physical location, we can get verified, and that would definitely help you ranked, right? For sure. So that's another thing you can do. It's definitely worth it. That extra $500 a month. It's only like do the math. It's only like 6,000 for the year, so it's not a lot, right? The other thing is that having a phone number, two scenarios. I talked about this because things have changed recently with this having a phone number. Obviously having a phone number, there's Google allows you to have two phone numbers: primary number, which is a visible number, and a secondary number, which is invisible, right? I recommend, especially with Google, recently, this has happened like actually a couple of days ago. Google's doing away with Google business profile call history. So for a long time, Google allowed you to view your call history on Google business profile by your regular phone number. So they're not allowing that anymore for whatever reason. They're always changing things. So recommendation moving forward. This is something that I recommend for every company to do. Having a tracking phone number on their Google business profile, right? You can have your main number as well, right? Having your website number, your main office line on there as well, but having your primary number as your tracking number so you can track the calls you're getting in, right? The importance of this is very important, right? At the end of the day, you want to like one of the most common questions we get as an agency, as a roofing company owner, that yeah, like how do I know if this is actually working, right? Their ads are working or the SEO is working. Well, you're not going to know if you're not tracking stuff. So how are you going to make good decisions in your business if you're not tracking the information, if you're not getting that information to your business, right? That allows you, having the right data allows you to make good decisions for your business. Without that, then you're just in the blind. And I've seen it so many times where people just, especially in the roofing space, it's a very strange industry. It's more emotion driven. It's not logical, right? So you make decisions based on logic, especially with things like this, right? So track your phone numbers, track where it's coming from, and understand like the importance of the impact of the business, right? Um, Other things I want to go over is business categories. I talked about this already. Obviously, having primary, secondary categories. So Google Business Profile allows you to have one primary category and having secondary categories, right? There's an example right there. Other things you can do, right? Depending on the business, right? Some businesses are more seasonal versus others, right? If you do, for example, if you do more roofing in the summer, right? But you actually do more windows in the winter, right? You can actually change the category from roofing in the summer to windows in the winter, and that would actually boost the rankings on both, right? Boost the rankings on the window side when we're in windows, and boost the rankings on the summertime when doing roofing. So important to understand that, right? It's most important factor on the local map selection, right? Second thing is actually business description, right? These are a couple of examples you have, right? With this business description, couple of things you can do is having clear, concise, and engaging language, right? Clear what you do, how you do it, how you can help the customers, and at the end, having a call to action. Another thing you think about is having unique selling proposition, right? What makes your business unique versus every other roofing company, right? Add some personality. These are two good examples that you do. And at the end, you have a call to action, right? So this is really not rocket science. It's very easy to do, but things like this are the easy things that a lot of people just miss, right? Just miss. Just for whatever reason they neglect to do, right? Second thing is operating hours, right? Like I explained earlier before, having the right operating hours is important because it kind of sets the right expectations, also builds trust and avoids it improves the visibility. Right? So here's an example, right? If you're 24 hours a day, if your Google business profile says 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? And somebody is Saturday, right? They call your business, but it says open on your business, right? Then when they call your business and you don't actually pick up, it's gonna hurt you, right? It's gonna hurt you with the prospect, right? It's gonna create that layer of mistrust, right? At the end of the day, one of the most important factors in success with anything with online lead generation is speed, right? The faster you respond to the leads, when you answer the phone every single time, the higher chances of you actually converting the sale, right? So important to understand that concept, right? Best practices for filling out every section of the profile. Again, we're just going through every section, make sure you understand the importance of every section is very important. Having high quality photos is very important. Filling out all the social profiles, having a uniform look to your business throughout your online presence is very important. Having the same, branding throughout your website, through your Facebook, Instagram, Google My Business, right? All those things are important, right? Having high quality photos, right? I'm going to talk about a specific section on the photos. Photos are very important in rankings, right? Having high quality photos increases the engagement by 42%. And here's a couple of examples, right? Number one, you can't do stock photos, right? So any stock photos that you do, Google's they're gonna ignore that completely, right? So you can't have stock photos. Other thing is this. That's by the way, it's 90% of roofing companies that we talk to, right? They only have stock images. Don't have stock images. First thing you do, be proud of the work you've done. Showcase the work you've done. Have videos, images of your work. Showcase images and videos of your business, who you are, what you do. Those are the things that make it really stand out, right? And creates more engagement, more importance. Other thing, having a good cover photo, right? Having a good cover photo is the first photo that people see when they look on your Google Business Profile, the main image, right? The last thing is EXIF data, right? So what we do is when we do for our clients is that when we upload the photo, right, you make sure we have the right latitude and longitude, and we use different tools to determine where the picture was taken to kind of get more EXIF data on this, right? So we do this with Google My Business Profile. So the more images you have around that person is going to give you like a circular effect of where the people are searching and looking for, right? Make sure you understand that. Other thing is having social profiles. Obviously, like I explained earlier, having your uniform information online, having all the information from a Google Business Profile really it does make it simple to understand and transfer over to Facebook, right? The same thing applies to Facebook, right? Having images, having the right data, having the right name, address, and phone number. Same thing with Instagram. If you do Instagram, TikTok as well. The TikTok, all these different platforms are important. Obviously, Bing, Yelp, all these different things are just important, having a uniform things. When I talked about generally speaking applies to Google, right? Generally, because obviously this is just Google Business Profile. But if you use just the same strategy, same common sense, you can really use, things I just talked about today, for use it for Facebook, use it for Instagram, use it for TikTok, for Bing, all this different stuff. It all applies, it's all related, right? So the more photos you have, the more strength of uniformity, the more engaging and the more visibility you're going to increase your profile, right? Engaging customers with Google Business Profile. So one of the things that Google Business Profile allows you to do, which is very different, obviously, than the yellow pages, is that it allows you directly to engage with all your customers, right? So obviously, the most important one is responding to reviews. So there's two things you can do, right? So obviously, positive review, you respond with praise, right? You just say thank you for your service, and I will try to give you like a respond with the keyword. So if you're a roofing company, ask respond with the keyword in the actual review response. That actually helps you with the SEO rankings, right? Other thing is responding to negative reviews. There's two things you can do, right? There's first thing I would try to do actually is try to appeal the review, right? There's ways that Google allows you to do to actually appeal the review if it's not a real review, right? Other thing you can do is make sure you respond to the review in a manner that's kind of fact-based, but also just provides trust, right? So because when you think about what people respond to the reviews, everybody's it's a perception issue, right? So everybody's responding to the review, they're getting an idea of how you treat your customers, right? How you treat your customers, and if you treat them in a bad manner, obviously what's going to happen is that's going to create mistrust with your brand, and you don't want that to happen, right? At the end of the day, what that's going to do is going to decrease the amount of leads you're getting online. That's the most important thing, right? Q&A, right? So with Q&A, it's the last section is it allows you to interact with your customers, so you can provide the most common questions, right, and answer them on the Q&A, right? Very important. It's also make sure that you provide relevant answers to the questions. So sometimes you get some relevant questions, irrelevant questions, and people don't respond. So it kind of creates funny situations with that. So make sure you understand and keep on top of that. We have this preset for our clients. We kind of have the most common questions we get and kind of write them out for them already, right? So make sure you understand that. Other thing is basically the messages posting, right? So the most posting, think about posting as like the kind of like posting on social media. That's what it looks like, right? So Google Business Profile posting is really just the Google's social media kind of presence, right? Social media platform. That's what you think about it, right? So if you post updates about the offers, the events, different things about the different blog posts about that, it creates more engagement, more visibility, and more increased traffic, right? Those are the main three things. So with us, with the clients, to give you an example, right, is that depending on the package you get, right, we create more posts, right? The more posts our clients have, the more engagement, the more visibility, the more traffic, and the more leads, right? So on average, we post between 4 and 16 times a month for our clients, depending on the package, right? And that's per location, right? Per location, right? So if you have 2 locations, that's 8 posts, right? And up to 32 posts a month, right? So that's what it looks like. Obviously, having a website link is very important, extremely important in creating that lead generation flow. A couple of things I want to mention about this specifically is that if you have 2 profiles, right? If you have one in, let's say, Miami, another in Orlando, right? And your main office is in Miami, but you have one website, right? Because it doesn't make sense to create 2 websites, you just need one website in that location, right? Recommendation is this, right? You post your main office in your homepage with the Miami location, right? And then I would put your location page, for example, Orlando, right? On your website link for Google Business Profile, right? So don't link the Orlando location to your homepage, link it to your Orlando section of your website, right? That's what I recommend. So make sure you understand that. Other thing I want to mention is this: you don't need a website to get started with this, right? So if I was starting a roofing company, I would not get a website in the beginning. I actually, before I get a website, I would get a website, obviously, right? But what I'm saying is that before I get a website, I would do my Google Business Profile, because it doesn't cost any money, and it really takes you a couple days to do. It does not take a long time, right? So you can actually create a website through Google that allows you to kind of have like an instant website. It takes literally 5 minutes to create. So I can recommend that you do that as well, right? Other thing you can do is products. So when people say products, right, what we are doing is actually putting our services as products. So if you look at this example, right, for Peralta Renovations, this is actual services, right? These are actual services, right? But we put them in the product section, right? Residential roofing, roof repair, roof inspection, they're all services, right? But we put them as products and makes your business profile stand out, right? So those are the things we do. Obviously, what you do is take a list of your services you provide. I say you provide 10 services, and you add those different products into your Google Business Profile, right? And then having a call to action at the end. Other thing is messages. So this is something that just came in today. And what's happening is that apparently Google Business Profile is no longer allow you to have a chat widget, right? So what happened, as I was seeing, is that actually people would get messages on the Google Business Profile, and you would get leads that way. But for whatever reason, Google is no longer doing that. It's by July 31st, 2024. They're just doing that with that feature. So doing with that feature, which is interesting. Last week they did away the call history feature. So just interesting what's happening. Just messages was a part of it, no longer a part of it. So interesting what's happening with that, right? The future of AI search, right? So I want to bring this up because it's very important to understand that what we're teaching today is going to be even more and more important as AI becomes more important with search. So here's an example, right? So 6 months ago, Google released their generative AI search. Now I've been using it for 6 months, and what it does is it kind of gives you like you ask Google your search, and it gives you like an AI response, right? And now they've actually implemented where Google's mandatory have it on their search, right? So every search has AI in their search, right? If you type into Google, right? So what's happening is that if you look at the bottom, right, you type in roofing company using AI, the AI is pulling information from the map section to give you recommendations. So for example, name me the top 10 roofing companies in Miami, right? What the AI is doing is pulling the information in the map section, right? And then giving you an answer, right? It's kind of a little bit different than the actual search where you search for information. In this case, you're asking information, but it's pulling from local AI, from the actual maps. So what's going to happen is this, right? It's going to happen is that basically the AI search is become more and more important. It's going to push down the organic search on the SEO side, right, for the website stuff. And the local side is going to become more and more important. So when somebody does SEO locally, right, for example, he wants to get, if you're a local roofing company, local plumber, and I want to get more local leads on the SEO, what's going to be happening is that the local part of the SEO, right, the Google Business Profile, the localized search, is it become more and more important, right? So that's to keep in mind. So that's what's more and more important. That's what's changing, and just make sure you keep that in mind. It's important you have that in mind in place. So Google has not really, like, people are saying that Google's like, oh, it's killed SEO. It's just changed. It's just changed. But you guys are lucky, and we're lucky too, because what's happening is that a lot of different businesses have really gone into tailspin because of this change, right? So it's interesting to see what's going to happen in the future, right? So the last thing I want to talk about, some success stories in the title, right? What I talked about is how to get 179 roofing leads. And I want to show actual proof of that happening, right? This is a specific example of a client called Stella Roofing. They're in Rochester and Buffalo. This is an example of just 179 calls, right? In the Rochester location, right? It does not include the clicks or the visits. I'm going to show that in the next slide. But give you an example, if you follow this, right? This is not overnight. It didn't come overnight. It took a little time to get there, right? So you follow the formula, you do the reviews, the posting, you get citations, backlinks, all these different things will help you get more visibility on the local side, right? And these are actual clicks, right? We see from April of this year, this Sutter Roofing got 351 clicks to their website just from Google My Business. So Google My Business is a huge driver of traffic, right, to this business. And I can't really see how many leads they got from the clicks, right? But I know they got a ton of leads from the website, right? Ton of leads from the website, and also a ton of calls. So when I say 179 calls, I was actually understating the amount of leads they got from the Google Business Profile, right? To understand the possibility of this, right? Other success stories. So what you're seeing here, this is Century Roofing. You're seeing a local search grid. So what we use is a tool called Bright Local that kind of gives you a snapshot of the local search grid. So for example, here in this case, you're looking at a keyword called roofing repair in Tennessee, and it's like a 10-mile radius. And this company, Century Roofing, they're ranking number 1, averaging 1.1 in that radius, right? So that gives them the ability to rank for anybody searching in the roofing company, roofing serve, roof repair, in the map section number 1. So that gives them, think about the idea, the amount of traffic, the amount of visibility they're getting from that search. So that's what it looks like on that side, right? Other one is Acker Roofing, like one of the examples I've been using. This is in Concord, California. This is a 10-mile radius, and this is for roofing services, right? The keyword roofing services, and they're ranking number 1 on average, right? So this is driving a lot of calls, driving 50 to 60 calls a month, right? And they have 117 reviews and 4.9 rating on their profile, right? Other example, this is guys in Houston, a lot more competitive, different keyword, right? Gutter repair. So understand like the importance of this. This guy is ranking number 1, average 1.4 rating in that local search grid. So obviously this is driving a lot of calls, a lot of visibility on their website, a lot of visibility to their Google Business Profile, a lot of visibility to their phone calls and getting more phone calls because of that, right? So frequently asked questions. These are most important questions I get, like that I see every time. Obviously verification. Why is verification important for you? Obviously, like that's one of the main factors, right? Like I talked earlier before, right? It's top 5 factor, right? If you have your website, if you have your Google Business Profile verified, what's going to happen is that it's going to give you priority in the listings. So it's very important to get verified right away. So by post or by video, I already talked about the importance of having, if you don't have a location, physical location, then you can just do a virtual location, right? But if you have a physical location, make sure you actually take a video and of the actual location, right? Other thing. Other one is so how often should I update my Google Business Profile? These are very common questions we get, and I saw in the chat. So basically the rule, at least once a week. At least once a week, you update your profile. That's what we do for our clients. We update at least once a week. The more updates, the more visibility, the more traffic, the more results. 100%, right? What should I do if I receive a negative review? I kind of went over this a little bit, but what I would do is actually I would try to appeal the review, and Google does allow you to appeal the review. First thing, if you can't get it appealed, can't get it removed, then obviously you respond in a manner that's respectful and explain the situation clearly what happened, right? Obviously, at the end of the day, people understand reviews. Like you're not going to be perfect. People understand reviews. They're going to see like what's happening. If you have a lot of negative reviews, that's a bad thing. If you have one or two, it's not a big deal. But the more reviews you have, it makes a big impact, right? One person having 10 reviews, right, and one negative review versus a person having 1,000 reviews and 10 negative reviews. Obviously, a person with 1,000 reviews, 10 reviews is going to have a much less percentage higher rating, right? Other thing is necessary to have a website. Again, not necessary, but very, very important on that, right? So it's very important to improve visibility, improve the traction of your site. And also just going to create more uniformity with everything you're talking about. So I hope you guys like this. I do have some other questions that I saw. So I see how important is an offer to my online presence through Google Business Profile. So obviously, we talked about earlier, having an offer is going to get more people to convert at a higher rate. So for example, if you're posting right on your Google Business Profile and you have an offer, then the most likely scenario, it's going to increase the chances of them actually giving you a call. That's the whole point of it, right? Increase the chances of actually somebody giving you a call, right? So that's the whole point of an offer, right? So in terms of an offer, right, there's many things you can do, right? Like that's another thing. I can do an entire webinar just having a great offer for roofing. But obviously you want to think about this, right? One thing to keep in mind is that, business is a thinking person's game, right? You have to actually think. So you have to understand like what it takes to be successful is think, right? Thinking about what is an offer is a very important in your business. So those are the things. So other one is how much traffic does a Google profile generation in relation to the website? I mean, it can get a lot of traffic. I mean, some clients are getting more traffic through the Google Business Profile than the actual website, but it depends. I mean, like I said earlier before, right? If you focus on Google's big four, maybe I didn't say it earlier, but what's what we do for our clients? We focus on Google's big four, right? Google's big four is this, right? Local service ads at the top, right? Those are Google guaranteed ads. The second section is a map section, which I just discussed in this entire webinar. Third is the organic results. And then fourth is the SEO traffic, right? If you are dominating all those four, then you're in good shape, right? How long can I expect to this amount of leads? Again, this is a very common question. That's the most common question I get is when can I expect leads? Again, it really depends, right? It depends on, where you are, right? Somebody having, been in business 10 years, right, has 300 reviews and wants to, beat some of your competitors, right? It's much easier for them to get leads the next month versus somebody who's starting from scratch, right? It depends, right? So it depends. It could be a week. It could be next 30 days. It could be 2 months. Hard to say, right? Last question I have, what makes your Google business profile process unique? What's your differentiable? So at the end of the day, like what we do with what we talked about is that we discuss the fundamentals, right? Google business profile, having the right fundamentals is important, right? Having the right fundamentals we discuss, right? If you have that, that's already 95%. And then in terms of actual uniqueness, we do have some partner websites that we partner with that we have partnered over the last few years that we actually get links from. That kind of makes our process a little bit unique. And also we have a AI model that's been working for years that really kind of makes our Google business profile stand out. And plus we have the experience. So that's kind of the different things that we discuss. So I hope you guys like this. I don't think I have anything else, but I really hope you guys like these questions. I don't have any other questions I have, but hope you guys like this. I really enjoyed it. Thank you, and we'll talk to you soon. And also, one thing that I forgot to talk about is at the end. So if you guys do want to learn more, I forgot this, schedule an intro call at roofingmarketingpros.com/calendar. And then you can actually get a free audit for our clients. I'm sorry, a free audit for our anybody who attends, right? So what we can do is have our have our team look at your Google Business Profile and just give you an audit. So it'll be like a spreadsheet with all the information that's required to actually, make the profile stand out. And then just want to learn more how we can actually start implement things for your business. Just schedule a call on that calendar link and we can talk to somebody in our team. See you guys.